Hi there, this is Don, and I'm an old school kind of guy, but I don't have any real old school tips today. What I do have is some plants. So they've been sitting in plastic since last weekend. Bought them at the auction. But you know, plants with just a touch of water, they'll do all right for a few days. So somebody brought in a bunch of little teasers. This is some Rotala. Now, I don't mind little teaser packages. Because if you leave them out long enough, they'll grow into a nice, big, healthy plant. And knowing Rotala a little bit, I think I'll just leave it to float there for a while. But you know, if you get these little tiny packages for a couple of dollars, and if you're patient, you can grow them out to be a pretty good size. Now this is some Sunset High Grow. And yeah, this one's got roots all over the place, so let's just break that stem off and stick it down in here. And goodness, what do I do with this one? Let's break it off on both sides of that little stem and put it right over here. Now that high grow will grow back very nicely, and in a few weeks I can have several stems of that. I've also got some water wisteria, just another little teaser bag, that's what I call them. And here it is. And I think what I'm going to do is take these over and drop them in my shrimp tank. Water wisteria does very nicely, just floating along. And you'll notice what I'm planting some of these in is a nice little tote, shoebox, something in between. I don't know how big it is, but it'll hold a gallon or two. Now here's another nice floating plant called guppy grass, and I think I'll throw that in my shrimp tank too. My shrimp tank needs some plants up near the surface. Mostly it's got dwarf Sagittarius and Vallisneria in it. So I need to get something up near the top for the shrimp. Now this one says assorted plants. Can't read the first one, Achmola. I don't know what that is. High grow and mint. There's a comma after the Akmela. I don't know that. I'll have to look it up. There's a comma and then high grow, and on the next line mint. So I don't know what this. I don't know what this is. But as I take it out, I find out that I have got a real mess of stuff. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with all of this. I think I'll take time off camera to separate it out and figure out what I've got. But you know what I've got is a lot of fish tanks that can use some more plants, and I've got a couple more tanks I'm going to be setting up. So Now this plant was not a teaser. This is, I don't know if you can see it in there, but this is Mural Filium. And yeah, I very much wanted this. It's going to go in the back corner on my 125. And then the last plant is some floating Antler Fern. Never had this before. 2 bags of it, pretty good amount. And with a name like floating Antler Fern, I bet I'm going to float it in my shrimp tank. And the nice thing about all these floating plants is in a few weeks I'll have plenty of them. And I'll just let them keep growing, because in a couple of months I'm going to want to put them in my 300-gallon horse trough outside. So we have some goldfish and some koi in there. And what we'll do is we're going to do some aquaponics off from that tank. And I'll put one of those swimming noodles floating across the middle, and it'll keep the plants on the non-pasture side, but I leave a little opening on the side so that some of the plants can slip through, because the horses sure love these floating plants. But the goldfish and koi do too, and it provides them with some shelter. So anyway, there you go. One of the reasons I like Aquarium Societies is because I can get a mess of plants fairly cheap. So, not really an old school way of doing things, because when I started I never heard of an Aquarium Society. I was one of the first people to join the Greater Portland Aquarium Society in Portland, Oregon. Wasn't one of the founders, but I was there in the first few months. And I learned a lot there, and one of the things I learned was if you take something in and share it, you might make a couple dollars, and if you take a few dollars in cash, you're going to be able to buy a whole lot more than you'd ever get in a store. Now I'll sort out this one bunch, and I'll plant some of it in this little plastic container, and then I will add a whole bunch of water. Oh, look at this, a nice little, is that Sagittarius? No, this is a val of some kind. So anyway, I'll be adding some plants here, and then in just a little while I'll add some water. And I just happen to have a nice little light sitting around. It's just a little shop light, small one. Got a grow light bulb in it. It'll clamp right onto the side of the tote. Now if I turn this light straight down, it's going to fry my plants pretty good, because there's not much water there. But if I tip it a little bit like that, or maybe clamp it onto something above this, which I've got, then it'll provide the right amount of light. And I'll just give it about 5 hours a day. And these should be doing good. Oh yeah, better add some fertilizer, don't you think? Either that or throw a few Antlers in there and let them provide some fertilizer. Hey, y'all have fun. Bye.